hell's going on? Where's put the bike? Oh, intro. Wrong part. What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another adventure with the Bearded Bobber. And on today's adventure, I want to talk to you guys about the Laughlin River Run. And not just the Laughlin River Run, but Laughlin, Nevada's history, how it got started, the Laughlin River Run, past, present, and possibly future. So, let's get started. Oh. This isn't the right setup yet, though. Alright, so that's a lot better. Now I'm set up and ready to talk to you guys about this. This is a lot easier for me now to be able to tell you about the history and everything else. Let's take some notes on the computer, of course. Now, before we can get into the river run and my thoughts on the river run, future, past, present, the Laughlin's history I think is really cool, and I want to talk to you guys about that. Now, a sliver of the Colorado River Valley where Nevada is, California and Arizona, it's very close where it meets. There's Needles, Bullhead, and Laughlin. It's a fast-growing destination because of the river and everything else, and gambling in Nevada. Now, Laughlin's current location was established in the 1940s, with the South Point due to its proximity to Nevada's southern tip. The settlement consisted of a motel, a bar, that catered to gold and silver miners who dotted the map, and to many construction workers who built the Davis Dam. The Davis Dam was designed to help regulate the mighty Colorado and to provide electricity to the southwest. Once the dam was completed, construction workers left the motel and fell into a despair. In 1964, Don Laughlin, the owner of Las Vegas 101 Club, flew over Laughlin, offered to buy the property. In less than 2 years, the motel and bar, now called the Riverside Resort. If you've ever been to Laughlin, you know Riverside, and it's the Don Laughlin Riverside. Called the Riverside Resort, was offering all-you-can-eat chicken dinners for 98 cents. Play on a 12-slot machines and 2 live gaming tables. If you guys have been there now, that's just a corner of the casino. Guest accommodations were available in 4 of the motel's 8 motel rooms. 8. The Laughlin family lived in the other 4 rooms. South Point was renamed Laughlin when the U.S. Postal Service inspector insisted Don Laughlin give the town a name. Any name in order to receive mail. Don Laughlin recommended the name of Riverside or Casino, which is very fitting for the town. But the postal inspector used Laughlin instead. In 1972, the Riverside Resort added 48 rooms, followed by several additions, and in 1986 built the first 14-floor high-rise. Second casino, the Bobcat Club, opened in 1967, where the Gold Nugget Laughlin currently operates. In 1968, a third casino, the Monte Carlo, opened its doors. Across the river, Bullhead flourished. Personal note, Bullhead is hot. Stupid hot. Flourished in the glow of the casino light. Shuttle boats transported customers from the Arizona side to of the river to the Laughlin resorts. Across the during the 1980s, a surge of casino constructors exploded in Laughlin. The Colorado Hotel, now the Pioneer, which I believe is closed down. I think they're reopening it. I could be wrong. My grandma worked there for a couple decades, a very long time. The Regency, Sam's Town, Gold River, now the River Palms, and the Edgewater opened early in the decade. The activity attracted other investors to become a second boom resulting in the construction of the Colorado Bell. My first real job was actually at the Colorado Bell, serving donuts and like breakfast, hotel, normal stuff. Harris Del Rio, Ramada Express, and finally in 1990 the Flamingo, which is now called the Aqua, something like that. It's not the Flamingo anymore. 1987, Don Laughlin funded the build of the Laughlin Bridge at a cost of $3.5 million. He donated the bridge to the states of Nevada and Arizona. The bridge carries 2,000 vehicles daily. Today there are 9 hotel casinos, 1 motel in Laughlin providing 10,000 rooms, 94,000 square feet of meeting space, 60 restaurants, 2 museums, a 34-lane bowling center at the Riverside, variety of boutiques, spas, saloons. More than 14,000 casino workers now cross the Colorado by shuttle boat or Laughlin Bridge each day. The city by the river now attracts nearly 3 million visitors annually who visit Laughlin to gamble, enjoy water sports on the Colorado, and attend many high-profile special events. Now, the Colorado River itself is freezing cold all year round. I believe it's in the 50s all year round. It's a high current. The lake over to the side, that's where I grew up. That's where all my fun was had. But I think it's really cool that, Don Laughlin did all this stuff, and he's built a craziness with Laughlin itself. And knowing that he didn't actually name it after himself, that somebody else started that and all that kind of stuff is a little bit nicer to know now looking. Because before it's like, all right, dude, name this city after himself because he owned the land. But growing up around Laughlin, I was always going to Laughlin River Run, and then I ended up working there. I went to the lakes. My family worked at the casinos. It's always been like part of my history. Now, getting into the Laughlin River Run itself, it is, let's see. So if we want to give you the basic statement, the Laughlin River Run is an annual motorcycle rally held in Laughlin, Nevada. It is the largest gathering of bikes in the western United States. The event drew estimated 7,000 motorcycle enthusiasts in 2005. Now, I find that really cool because this was after the big shooting. So the big shooting was it was a huge ordeal, and it really declined the amount of people going to Laughlin for a while. This is me, this is not on here. And especially being down there, you get a lot of people like, hey, I'm gonna go down the Laughlin River Run. They're like, I'll be careful. If you guys don't know, by somehow, some means, anytime Laughlin is mentioned, this is usually mentioned. I like talk in the background. There was a shooting between the Hells Angels and the Mongols, and there's all kinds of history and stuff like that. There's videos on that. It's a big part of the deal. Now, it sucks because this was a big growing event and it hurt the event. People using a gathering point to pull this kind of shit off sucks. I'm not saying who's right. I'm not saying who's wrong. I'm not on either side. I'm on the side of the river run itself. Like, I want to have fun. I want to go do stuff. That's the cool part. Now, the river run, let's get back onto that. That's some of the past stuff. But getting on to, actually, it started in 1983 with only 426 people. When I say only, though, I mean, that's the first year in the 80s, no internet, and they still pulled that shit off with 400 people. Like, they didn't have, the way to, email and spam Instagram and all the other shit that we have now. They pulled this off with probably some flyers, probably actual mail, and I think that's really cool. And it was conceived by Harley-Davidson dealer Dale, I'm probably going to mess this up, I'm going to put it on the screen, Mark Sheck, who wanted to bring his customers on a fun weekend ride. The name comes from the fact that riders riding out to the Colorado River on which Laughlin sits. Other riders go across the river to Laughlin's sister, Bullhead City, with the Route 66, rides to Oatman, Arizona, Kingman, Arizona, and Lake Havasu City, Arizona. Lake Havasu is another one of my favorite stops. Kingman, like I showed you guys before, is where I really grew up. The Laughlin River Run today takes place annually during the last weekend of April, normally beginning on Wednesday and ends on Sunday. The event is currently promoted by Dalcon Promotions. It features several attractions, events, including live concerts, many motorcycle vendors, poker runs, bike shows, drag races, and a Miss Laughlin competition. Now, the one I was talking about was in 2002 for the rally at the River Run Riot, is what I guess people have called it now. A major brawl between motorcycle clubs and all that stuff went down. All kinds of crazy stuff. Now, with everything that was going on and hurting attendance, all the craziness, everybody started talking about how the Laughlin River run was going to end. And it happens almost every year. Is this the last year? Are they going to do this anymore? Man, this year's dead. Last year was busier. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's not really the case. When I went on Saturday, one of the last days for like Edgewater to do most of their stuff, there was still a lot of bikes. I didn't even get on camera how many bikes. There was a lot of bikes in Kingman. There was bikes in Laughlin. So there's also bikes across the river in Bullhead, Lake Havasu, and Oatman has been really kind of taken over. And that's where we get to, like right now, the vendors have been charging more, stuff like that. People thought, okay, there's not going to be this next year. A couple new casino owners, which happens all the time. Casinos get bought and sold throughout Laughlin, new owners, but nobody realizes unless you really look into it. I worked for the Colorado Bell. I mean, we knew there was a new owner coming through. Things changed for the workers, but when people actually are going there to visit, most of the time they don't know who actually owns the casino. So they were like, oh, I don't really want this kind of event, blah, 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 blah. Look, at 1 year, it peaked at 70,000 people. Let's say it's only hitting 30 now. 30,000 people you had in 5 days that you weren't going to have in those 5 days. You're going to have quite a bit of people. Casinos are always busy, but it's still something, to be made aware of. But a lot of people are going to Oatman. So I think a lot of the future of the Laughlin River Run is actually going to be Oatman. There's a couple reasons for this. Oatman's like a smaller town kind of thing, so it also looks crazy busy. It fills up the small town. It has a Sturgis type feel to it. And in Arizona, you don't have to wear a helmet. One of the big things with people riding in Arizona is they don't want to wear their helmet. A lot of old-time bikers, they go across Laughlin and they have to have their helmet on. So anytime you're riding just down the strip in Laughlin, you have to have your helmet on, otherwise the cops are going to get you. And the cops are out in force looking for this kind of shit. So in Oatman, you're cruising, 2 miles an hour or whatever without a helmet, hanging out with people. It's part of the appeal, the whole thing. And it gives off that Sturgis vibe, gives off that old time vibe as well. You're not worrying about vendors and what they're doing and all that stuff, which the vendors were totally badass this year, doing installs and everything else, which they probably have been. I just haven't been able to go in a long time. This is the first time I've actually been able to go on my bike. But I think that's where this is really getting to, is where people want more of that feeling than they do the going to Laughlin and just dealing with vendors. At night, from what I saw, I didn't actually get to stay and do that stuff. I went and did some family stuff, and that was just my cup of tea of like what I wanted to do. But they had the concerts going, and it looked like a good time, looked like a lot of people. But when it comes to like during the day and all the go-to, I see the appeal of going to Oatman. I'm going to do it next year, which I'll still hit Laughlin, but that's where people are getting the, like, it's not that busy because people are coming and going so much that not everybody's just hanging out there anymore. This is not how it is. Back in the 90s, my dad had a motorcycle business in Bullhead, and during that run, man, we were popping. It was just popping. It was crazy how busy we got. We were a motorcycle performance place, but we had a big party going on in the parking lot, which Kingman has Mother Road Harley Davidson, and you guys saw in my video at the beginning, party was going crazy. It was one of the better areas to be, and they were doing it all weekend. It was very smart on their part, business-wise, fun-wise, for your locals, for people coming through. It definitely one of the better things that I saw out of the entire time I was there. So hopefully, casinos and everybody else see this and keep everything going and try to do it in a better way instead of a business way. A lot of times, that's all this comes down to from them. They don't see it in any other way like we do, people going there. And I think that's where the kind of the future of Laughlin is going. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm curious as well, how many times you've gone, stuff like that. Maybe you've seen this as well. Maybe you've gone to Oatman a bunch of times. So I don't know. You know, this is just my thoughts on it and some of the history, letting you guys know that maybe you live in other parts of the world, and I know some of you guys do. So if you're interested in, you know, what my Laughlin River run was really about and some of the history of that town and everything, there you go. So, like always, you guys, stay safe, stay classy. Catch you on the next one.